you go. Welcome, welcome.
Are we live?
We are live.
Hello,
Yes.
everyone. Welcome to Geeky Geezers. I'm your host, Agent Boomer. I didn't mute my own thing. I'm hearing my voice. I don't like hearing my own voice, but here I am. Welcome, everybody. Not a huge news night, but we got enough articles, and
Yeah.
we're going to have a very special good old days, something that, frankly, I think has been on the back burner for a while, and now it kind of goes with one of our stories tonight. So,
It does.
perfect time.
Things come around again, I guess.
I hope so. I hope they come around well and don't involve certain captains apologizing for all the bad they've done. Make the audience feel
or just simply being male or whatever,
yeah, toxic masculinity. Hey, we'll get into that. Welcome, Big Al. Have a great show, geezers. Thank you. Oh man, I watched season 1 of Picard all the way through. You know that, right?
No,
Because I had to. I
Why?
didn't bother with season 2. I heard season 3 was better. Maybe I would have liked it, but
season 3 actually was pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, but I was just at that point. I just know everything they could do wrong they did. But it was interesting how it was bad in a different way than Discovery was. It was bad in a different way. It was just, I don't know. Unscripted Raid, welcome. Thank you, Deleted Scenes. Thank you for all of his loyal listeners for popping over here, giving these humble geezers their time. By the way, I'm your host, A.G. Boomer. This is my co-host, Pacelli. And here we have the other co-host, the Geezette, Netter of Netters Network. Welcome. I hope you don't mind Geezette.
Okay. No, it's kind of become
We came up with that last week. I'm the Geezette.
Right. Okay, yes. But yeah, we got some news to talk about tonight. Those bugs dead. I was watching Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom last night.
Yeah.
Still my favorite one of those.
I was indirectly referencing that in the backdrop there when I was talking about last Christmas I gave you my heart, but you shouted Kalima and it burst into flames.
Oh, very funny. Yeah, that was the Temple of Doom's a bad place. I got the impression from like they weren't being clever with the title. No, it's really about a Temple of Doom.
Yeah, exactly.
That was the 80s. You pay to go see the Temple of Doom, you see the Temple of Doom. That's all I want, all right? But
exactly.
We'll talk. I'm sure we'll get to Temple of Doom someday. I'm sure we'll do the summer movies that came out that summer, because I think that was the same summer as Star Trek 3, as I recall.
I believe that's correct, yes.
For some reason, I like pairing the Indiana Jones movies with the Star Trek movies, and I know that doesn't make sense for Lucasfilm aficionados because that's a Lucasfilm property, but I remember back in the day, William Shatner hosted a special on sidekicks on like regular TV, like it was about sidekicks, and he was explaining, of course, on Star Trek, he was talking about Mr. Spock, because that was, I guess you consider him Captain Kirk's sidekick. And Temple of Doom was out in theaters.
Sense, that's true.
Yeah, Temple of Doom was out in theaters, so they were showing scenes from it because I think it was basically almost like a pseudo promotion for Temple of Doom, but it was
regarding sidekicks in relation to Indiana
Heroes.
Jones, that would have been
Short Round.
Would have been Short Round, yeah.
Yes, exactly. Love Short Round. Glad Disney has missed the opportunity to kill him off, unless they mentioned something off screen he died in a. It should have been about him failing Short Round,
Yeah, exactly.
You didn't save him from drowning. You had to get that gold.
Oh God, yeah. Well, they killed off his son. They made him a deadbeat dad. Although that does seem to be the consistent through line for all of their hero characters. Particularly hero characters played by Harrison Ford, it seems like.
I think that it's I don't know. Is this a Disney thing?
Yeah. Oh no, it's a cultural Marxism thing.
Yes.
They're trying to destroy the nuclear family because man bad, everyone else okay, and oppressed, and all of that.
Like I keep thinking what's wrong with the different studios. Like I think Disney that's the woke central. That's that's all that. I don't know what Warner Brothers has other problems though. I don't know. Anyway, welcome everybody to Geeky Geezers. We're going to talk about the good old days. You want to bring the presentation up?
I
Let's,
absolutely will.
let's think about better times and think about something. Unfortunately, I may have a lot of questions about this, as I did not watch it, and I don't know why, because I think I was at this point Star Trek out, and maybe
Yep.
I think one of the complaints at the time, and I think I kind of agree that maybe the producers should have been able to take a year off and include the ending of one series and going on to another.
Boomer, make sure you're speaking directly into your mic, and if you're using a Bluetooth thing, make sure you've got a good connection because you're kind of warbling out.
I'm connected. Can you hear me? Am I roboting?
Yes.
Or are you
No, you weren't roboting. It sounded like you were at the other end of a hallway.
Okay. Do I sound okay now?
Yeah, you sound fine now.
Okay, good. All right. Moving on to Star Trek Enterprise, though. With the hot Vulcan babe. There, I said it. I'm not going to apologize.
I mean, she really is. Look, here's the funny thing, though. Because she was, if I'm not mistaken, her prior experience before this, and I'm drawing a blank on her, Jolene Blalock.
Yes.
Wasn't she like a fashion model or something before this?
It wouldn't surprise me. They always cast good-looking actors on Star Trek. I mean...
But she definitely had the acting chops. Look, we're going to get into it, I'm sure, as we go through this. Most people might think, well, she's playing a Vulcan. You just play it like a wooden plank and you're fine. No, she really brought the nuance. You know, think about, for example, Leonard Nimoy playing Spock. Right? It wasn't all purely unemotional. You know, there was a lot of that. Dealing with being a half human, half Vulcan, and all that sort of thing. But there was especially episodes where he would find himself in crisis, emotions taking over, and so forth.
Yeah.
And they did the same thing with T'Pol, where she loses control of her emotions. And, I'm sure we'll get into that as we talk about this a little bit more. But she definitely brought the range of acting. She was not... she was an excellent actress, not just a very beautiful one.
Now, not the first Vulcan we've had since Spock. We also had Tuvok on Discovery, which was the prior series. So it was interesting with another Vulcan, but this is our first Vulcan female regular character, unless you count Saavik, which I guess we can count Saavik, even though she wasn't.
You almost can't consider her a regular character. You'd almost have to consider her a recurring character. Because she was only really in 2 appearances in Star Trek no, 3. I'm sorry, 3 appearances and played by 2 different actresses.
So here we have our crew.
Right.
You may know their names or know who they are. I know that
the important points here are you have, of course, Captain Sam Beckett. I mean Jonathan Archer, who his father was worked with what's his name? Zefram Cochrane. Zefram Cochrane, of course, we saw in First Contact. He invented the warp drive, the Warp 1 warp drive that led directly to First Contact with the Vulcans.
And I believe he has a cameo in the pilot for this series, right?
He absolutely does. Yes, he does.
And what I thought was interesting is I remember in what was it, Star Trek First Contact, when Riker was quoting about, making some profound quote about mankind or something, like Zefram Cochrane.
Right.
Like, who said that crap? And he says, you did. Oh, for like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Because he was not, he was a reluctant, I was going to say he was a reluctant hero or leader.
He really was, yeah.
But he ends up having to, take on, be better than he was, I guess. But,
so Jonathan Archer's father was, worked with Zefram Cochrane to develop that Warp 1 engine into a Warp 5 engine. Which is being showcased in the new ship they are christening the Enterprise, the NX-01, NX being an experimental model. It was mostly ceremony that they were giving Archer's son the captaincy on that, because Yeah, because the continuity of it. That cameo you mentioned about Zephyr Cochrane is the equivalent of like a news interview or whatever, where he's getting ready to leave Earth to go to the colony on Alpha Centauri. That there was always an issue in canon about whether or not Alpha. It was in the episode I forget which episode it was that Zephyr Cochrane appeared in the original series. It was said that he was from Alpha Centauri and that his ship went missing. And it was always a lot of people, because of novels and role-playing games, said they were a whole separate race of people that we encountered as the Federation was forming, but that was never established. And it turns out, nope, it was one of our first colonies, and Zephyr Cochrane was relocating there, and somewhere along the way he got lost, and leads into the original series. Anyway, so you have these are the days before the Universal Translator. So it was very interesting. It was like they took Uhura's communications officer and kind of gave you a much better idea of why that role exists. She's not just, like a telephone operator or something like that. You see it a little bit in Star Trek VI as she's trying to communicate in Klingon. But you have Ensign Sato, right to his right, our left, who is the communications officer. He recruits her specifically because she is such a talented linguist. She has been working with the Vulcans, has learned their language, going through many of their linguistic databases and learning them herself. And throughout the course of the show, helps to develop the universal translator that you will see later on in Star Trek, the original series.
I imagine this is the human race coming into contact with a lot of alien technology that
for the first time. Yes, exactly right. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I like the uniforms here. This seems like a next step up from like what NASA astronauts.
Very inspired by NASA, and it was and the interiors of the ship also were meant to evoke the idea of they thought these things through. They said, we know what we're leading up to in the original series. We know what NASA ships look like. We know what the interior of the Phoenix looks like. Zephyr Cochrane's Warp 1 ship, logical progression. They did a great job. Chief engineer, so I'm going left to right, holding off on the doctor all the way on the left there.
Yes.
The engineer, of course, is Trip. What's Trip's full name? Trinier.
Trip
Tucker the Third. Yes, exactly.
Charles
Tucker the Third.
Nicknamed Trip.
Because he's the third, right? Exactly. He's a Southern boy. He's from Florida, in fact.
He reminds me of Tom Sawyer. There's something about him that reminds me of Tom
Sawyer.
Yeah,
actually, I never thought about
that.
Like
an adult Tom Sawyer.
Between his accent and everything, there is something of that in him. Again, a Florida boy, that comes up very crucial in a later storyline.
Yes.
Later, Chief Security Officer Malcolm Reed, thank you. Netter knows the names better than I do. British kid, really liked what kind of pie?
Pineapple cake.
Pineapple cake.
Oh, pineapple upside down cake.
Actually, he was highly allergic to.
Yeah, the actor. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The character was highly allergic to pineapple, but he loved pineapple cake. So he was taking shots regularly so that if he ever came across pineapple cake, he could have it and he wouldn't have a reaction. And they surprised him one day on his birthday with a pineapple cake because they knew he had been taking the antihistamines or whatever.
Yep.
Now, in real life, Dominic Keating said, I could care less about pineapple. If I saw it in a fruit bowl, I wouldn't go for it.
Yeah, exactly. Last one
is mixed on pineapple. I noticed. Yeah.
Well, the thing was, he goes, I don't even know where this thing for pineapple came up with. One of the writers was like, he's got to have like this favorite food that it's kind of like maybe obscure or something. Maybe he gets a reaction to it, like like he's got an allergy or something. Hey, let's make a pineapple.
Well,
so he didn't even get to
if I know the writers back then, they used to pay attention. They'd like, let's talk to a doctor and find out what would be good to fit the criteria for the allergy we want him to have. That's probably how it came up.
So you're saying to the right.
All the way to the right, the chief helmsman, that's
Travis.
Huh? Travis Mayweather. Right,
yeah.
Exactly.
And he was unique for having grown up in space because his family would do stuff in space, right? So he was not a stranger. Yeah.
So you get the impression that aside from Starfleet, you had people out there doing stuff in space. Sublight within the between the colonies at sublight speeds, and at sublight speeds you could go a whole generation on a ship, and that's exactly where he comes. So you have the two token aliens. The reason being, your doctor needs to be proficient in xenobiology, so they brought in a specialist, and that was Dr. Phlox. Great character. None of this emotionless stuff. He's a little bit reserved as far as, but he's enthusiastic, very curious.
Has 8 wives.
Yeah, the polygamous.
Polyamorous society, right?
Yeah,
where you could have up to how many wives each couple, but then if you get then you get divorced if you get too many. You want to get another one, which I thought was kind of was watching
that.
clips.
And then of course, then to Paul, who is the Vulcan overseer. You get the impression that there's this very, very Big Brother kind of feel from the Vulcans. They're the ones kind of holding us back. Think about the whole concept of the Prime Directive. They have greater wisdom out in space, but the humans are starting to chomp at the bit, which leads to some racial tension. But it also leads to the humans pointing out that the Vulcans aren't as perfect as they think they are, and they've got some stuff going on that isn't too logical and isn't too cool, and the humans kind of call them out on it. I can't imagine any real world analog for that. Just saying.
But anyway, though. But is that everybody though?
That's everybody on screen, yeah.
Okay, so
You forgot Porthos.
Well, Porthos isn't in. Yes, and the Captain Archer brings a beagle with him named Porthos, who likes cheese.
Well, that was good. They had a dog on the ship.
Uh-huh.
That's the Discovery model. What do we think?
Was
good
that
as a prototype Enterprise?
No.
Not Discovery. I keep saying Discovery. Sorry.
This is the name of the class
rot.
is actually the NX class because it was an experimental vessel. Now, this wasn't the only ship of this line. There was a second one, and I'm drawing a blank on what the other one was. It does come up in a future episode. But yeah, this is the ship. No secondary hull to speak of, but there was talk that if the show had continued on, they were going to add a secondary hull as part of a refit that would have made it look a little bit more towards the idea. In other words, it would have been continuing the evolution towards the Constellation class, or the Constitution class, excuse me.
I gotcha. But moving on to, there's Captain Archer.
Yeah.
We get a nice, good profile picture of him.
Notice he has the yellow stripes on his uniform that would eventually become the yellow shirt, like
for the
Kirk.
command, gold for command.
Mm-hmm.
That's
gold
what it was
for
supposed
command,
to be, right?
exactly.
Yes. Which they changed on TNG. I don't know if they ever accurately
Yeah, they
explained
flipped it
why.
in TNG. No, they didn't. Probably someone made a screw up and, had to go with it.
Because continuity people don't always pay attention, which is their job.
Which is funny because Next Gen, they did their best. And they just got some things flipped and whatever.
Wait, could it have something to do with during the movie era, how they all those naval uniforms that were all red. Maybe they wanted to keep something similar for command.
Well, no, because even in the movie era,
Yeah.
instead of it being the maroon bomber jacket that designated it, it was the color of the collar and the sleeve.
Oh, I
so,
see. You're right.
So McCoy still had blue, and the cadets had red.
Right.
I think they went to gray for the security.
I think so.
I'm drawing a blank.
It's
I can't really remember.
Star Trek's been all over the place with uniforms.
Yeah.
Don't change them again.
Right.
Anyway, and of course we had a bit of a romance going on the series,
so
right?
again, this show only lasted for 3 seasons, but there was a definite romance that starts up between T'Pol and Trip. It's Trip. I think we know him well enough that we can call him by his nickname.
Yes.
And they actually do end up canonically having the first human-Vulcan hybrid child who does not survive. But that was not because of incompatibility or anything like that. It has to do with the storyline and whatnot.
Right.
Yeah.
They were very weird about the whole interbreeding in the beginning of Star Trek. Like there was this, I have this Star Trek CD where the second CD is Gene Roddenberry explaining about how complicated it was for Spock's human mother to give birth to him. Like it was this very complicated thing, and then you realize later on, no, these humanoid aliens can breed with each other.
Right.
Yeah.
They kind of brought us to some degree of explanation of it in an episode of Next Generation. This idea that there was another a predecessor race that they
yes, I remember that episode.
That they considered that, you know, the original series referred to the preservers or whatever that would take and seed humanoid races around the galaxy, but more specifically, they assumed themselves to have been the first intelligent life in the galaxy, and as they started traveling throughout the galaxy, started to realize they were alone in the galaxy. So they seeded their genetic code on the primordial planets around the galaxy with an encoding that when these races started to come together, they could decode, you know, the message from the ancestors. So you find out that let me see, humans, Cardassians, Romulans, and Klingons all share a common ancestor way back. We already knew that Romulans and Vulcans did. So you start to realize, and then I know that they were doing that to kind of explain away why sometimes you would have beings of different races whose maybe their blood was compatible or something like that, and so on and so forth. Right. Definitely why so many human-like looking species existed out there. Right. So then they could start to say, well, maybe it's not so surprising that some of these races can interbreed. However, in Next Gen, they also had Kalar, who was half. Was she half or 1/4 human? I forget what part human she was. She was part human, part Klingon. Right. And Deanna Troi says, I didn't know that humans and Klingons could have children. She said, oh, my parents had some help. You know, you're getting the impression there was some genetic manipulation to help them conceive.
The thing about the whole thing is that about Star Trek is like you can accept it as an explanation, or you can throw it out as the Klingon and the Cardassian did, or you could say, well, maybe this is the thing.
Right.
But I just thought it was interesting. But Geek Flag says, I always thought the NX was too small because the warp drive is big. In the original Star Trek, they should have started out with the secondary hull, should have been all engineering and the warp core. How big was the warp drive on this show?
The warp drive, if I'm not mistaken, I could be very mistaken, but I think it was the reuse of something else from one of the Next Generation shows. So,
okay,
or maybe it was one of the movies. So yeah, size might have been an issue there. But keep in mind too, same size engine, but it only gets them to warp 5, right?
Right.
And remember that the original series, they were able to go warp 10, warp 14, on a different scale from next gen. That's a whole other thing. Let's not even go there. But
Lynn Green says 4 seasons for this show, which fortunately was cut a little short. We'll get into that in a minute.
she's probably right. Maybe it was 4 seasons. I got a little lost there.
And the last episode was so
yeah,
stupid.
yeah.
We'll
Just
talk
forget
about
the
it.
last episode.
Well, we may talk about it, but yeah, it's considered. There's Dr. Phlox, though. Thought that was interesting. I'd heard that he actually had different species of creatures on the ship that he would extract things from.
So what was very interesting is you get the impression of a doctor that was really into holistic medicine and the idea of maybe leeches used in history weren't the best way to go, but we have come to find, oh yeah, actually leeches are really good in situations where you need the anticoagulant for something or whatever the case is.
Right creature, wrong use, basically. Right?
Exactly right. And he did that with alien species that, oh yeah, this particular whatever. It's like a leech and it puts this into your, and it's got great healing properties, and then okay, you learn something new.
And he would often have I've seen clips on UB. He would have conversations with Paul as the 2 aliens on the ship, right? The 2 non-humans, I guess, right? So, and to be fair, I'll say this: it's
I was going to say it was a great opportunity for them to do a commentary on humanity from 2 uniquely alien perspectives.
And I thought that was interesting that you even had 2 aliens on the ship at all, because I always assumed early Starfleet was basically all humans, maybe a Vulcan here and there, but I know later on they would allow more races into Starfleet, right. But in the beginning it was probably mostly just humans because they were just going out there.
I'm glad.
In fact, this might be proto-Starfleet. Did they even call it Starfleet at this point?
No. It was United Earth.
United Federation of Planets.
They had not formed the United Federation of Planets yet. So there was no United Federation of Planets. It was the United Earth. They were clearly, without directly mentioning it, implying an organization that was mentioned in earlier original series, the United Earth Space Probe Agency. They don't really say anything about that in Enterprise, but you get the impression that this Starfleet, and it is called Starfleet, is an Earth-based thing overseen by the Vulcans, which again causes some friction. But then as they start to interact with the Andorians, shown here. By the way, we had an in remembrance for him just a couple weeks ago, so perfect picture to bring up.
Which actor played him?
That's
not Jeffrey Combs, is it?
Yes, thank you. That's who I was.
Wait a minute, he died?
Didn't he? Didn't Jeffrey Combs?
No, I don't think so. I'm gonna have to
Alexa,
look that up.
is Jeffrey Combs dead?
Jeffrey Combs is still alive.
Oh,
my apologies. Years old.
Maybe it was a different actor that played an Andorian.
I must have been confused.
We were mistaken. Nobody freak out. He's still with us. If you get a chance, go see him perform Edgar Allan Poe live on stage. I heard it's very good.
Oh, there you go. There you go. No, I was wrong, Lynn. I was wrong. I'm sorry. I made a mistake.
Okay.
I confused him with another actor.
But it's interesting that the Andorians are on the show because, of course, I always knew they were very big on early Star Trek, and they've become big members of the Federation, but we never really got to see them on a series before, like I think on here, right? So yeah,
the founding 5 members of the Federation were was Earth, Alpha Centauri, which declares independence from Earth, the Vulcans, the Andorians, and the Tellarites, who also are brought into Enterprise. Now, what happens is we see that there is a great deal of tension between the Andorians and the Vulcans. So the Vulcans acting like, oh, we're so great and peaceful and whatnot, and then Archer finds out, oh, you're having some problems with the Andorians. Well, they're a warlike species, and
cannot be trusted.
Yeah, they're the barbarians, and then you find out that they've set up a listening outpost near Andorian or in Andorian space on a planet that the Vulcans have turned into a monastery. So it would be like building a church and then putting a military listening facility in the basement. You know, on the border of the enemy country. It's really, and it's like, okay, this is a problem. And it was very much setting up the humans to come in and say, look, you know, for the peaceful people you claim to be, we need to work on this. We need to come together and, you know, kind of a thing. And it was setting up the humans being the facilitators of this new federation and kind of exerting themselves over the Vulcans in that regard.
Why did the Vulcans originally work with the humans to begin with? They explain that at all? Like
yeah, they do. So if you think about the whole concept behind, and you get the impression that their influence led to this whole concept of a prime directive. You don't want to go into a primitive society and start monkeying around with that,
right?
Kind of literally, because you throw off their natural evolution. You know, you end up taking the role of gods in their development.
You create packlets.
Yeah, well, possibly. So what you do is instead you observe from a distance, learn what you can from them, and then when they get to a certain level of space exploration where they're going to come in contact with you, then you need to open up negotiations with them to introduce them to the Society of the Galaxy, which is as soon as Zephyr Cochrane fires off the Phoenix at Warp 1, and there's a Vulcan ship going through, hey, that's a warp signature. It's coming from that Terran planet. I didn't think they had that technology. Well, they do. I guess we got to reach out to them. First contact, you know. And so what they do is they try to shepherd the new. It really is like a big brother taking in the little brother and introducing them to society, so to speak.
Yeah, the Vulcans. It was only logical the humans held the hands. Only logical to hold the humans' hands in space exploration because they thought they weren't ready to be part of the galaxy.
Exactly. And let's face it, to be true, they weren't. We've already made all these mistakes. You know, think about your older sibling that went to high school before you or went to college before you and gave you the advice. Okay, when you get to high school and some upperclassman tells you got to buy a what do they call it? An elevator pass, to get to the second floor. That's bullcrap. If they say this is a one-way stairway, that's bullcrap too. All these things that.
Want to go to the underground swimming pool, that sort of thing. The basement.
Exactly.
Well, what was funny is that someone tried that joke. They're like, "Oh, you want to get to such and such place? Yeah. Well, that's up the stairs behind the swimming pool." Thing was, our high school had a swimming pool.
Yeah.
So it. So it didn't sound unusual when someone said, "Yeah, it's behind the swimming pool."
Yeah,
because
you could have stairs behind the swimming pool. Anyway, so that's the relationship with the Vulcans.
What up, party people? Oh, Enterprise! My daughter loves the opening of that show. This opening was unique, and it had a song, didn't it? It wasn't like
it did. So
a tip. Yeah.
And I know Lynn's probably going to shout out because I always forget the name of the guy that sang the song. It should have been.
I just told you this a couple days ago. Who sang the...
Do you remember? See? So, but yeah, Archer here is the one who really should have been singing because he's got a great singing voice. The song was originally sung for the movie Patch Adams by Rod Stewart, Faith of the Heart. It's a great ballad, very inspirational, really fits the very positive, optimistic concept behind Star Trek. For all the people that kind of poo-pooed it as being corny back in the day, I think it holds up a lot better now that we see how Star Trek has developed since then. Just saying. We need to get back to that.
And to all my sweeties out there, I'm sorry I did not type in the chat, "Hi, sweetie," to you, but right now I got my hands full of Well, cherry juice because I'm pitting a whole ton of cherries, so I can't type with
Yeah,
cherry juice fingers.
I'm going to be making those maraschino cherries for the holidays, and
Very
she
cool.
is. I would be helping her, except I need to pay attention here.
He can't get cherry
No,
juice.
he
over
just
the
doesn't
computer.
wanna. He's giving me that look like.
No, I absolutely do. We also only have the one pitter, so
I'm sure I could. I
But-
can use a steel straw, dear.
yes.
Look,
So the Suliban, a race introduced in Enterprise, there was this whole storyline, and I understood where they were going with this. They wanted to be able to play around with things. They knew what canon was, they knew what they wanted to lead up to, but they also wanted to be able to play around with some things. So they introduced this idea of a temporal Cold War, that somewhere in the 26th century or something like that, some races have developed time travel and are now trying to mess around with the timeline. So the Federation, whatever the Federation becomes in the 26th century, sends agents back in time and sometimes enlists the help of the locals, so to speak. And Archer ends up being, contacted by someone in the future, almost right from the get-go, because the Suliban are trying to mess with the politics of the Beta Quadrant, and directly impacts first contact between the humans and the Klingons, which happens in the very first episode, the pilot episode called Broken Bow.
are they the villains of the series?
The Suliban, they're set up to be, only come to find out later that they're kind of a race that's being taken advantage of by someone else in the future.
Okay.
They are comparable in technology, probably, to the humans, but imagine someone from the future saying, "Well, you do this and you do that for me, and we'll give you this ability to change your genetic structure, and we'll give you advanced space technology and weapons and this and that." That's the Suliban, and the Suliban are given the ability to change their genetics so that they can change shape, change form. Do all kinds of things that humans can't. So this was, there you go. So this has got to make you feel very uncomfortable.
Yes.
Because this is basically a terrorist attack that happens to Earth by the Suliban. No, it wasn't the Suliban, but the Suliban were involved.
Yes.
Another group of aliens called the Zindi, they create well, let's face it. They create a Death Star, and they send it to our planet to destroy a large section of Florida. In so doing,
Well, also it went down to Venezuela too. It wasn't just Florida. It
Yeah.
messed with a lot of South America too, I think. Yeah.
but in so doing, one of the people that is killed in this terrorist attack is
Trip's sister.
So he gets very
Angry.
personally involved, which eventually leads to him being reached out to by a shadowy deep state group called Section 13. So
Section 31.
31. Sorry, yeah, I switched that around. So
Yeah. Look, Section 31. Let's not.
I know. Let's not dig too far into it. It's a
Section
thing that
31
happens.
might have been a mistake.
It absolutely was.
It was already on D Space Nine as this big thing, but then I wish they'd left it there. That's the Zindi. I always thought this was an interesting idea for a antagonist Star Trek race, as it was 5 different species that were sentient from one planet, right?
Yep.
So they
So
were all from the same
I'm
planet,
having,
right? Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. The dude in the middle is reptilian. The guy on the right is they call him the primate, human-like. I'm forgetting the one on the left. He wasn't the avians were an extinct species on their planet. They also had a kind of like somewhere between humanoid and whale. These aquatics.
Yes, they did whale song when they would speak. You'd hear the whale song in
Yeah.
the background. They would translate that. Yeah.
Right. So there you go. which I thought was actually pretty cool.
And if I recall, what's her name? The linguist had to figure out how to talk to him.
Yes, that's it. Well, and she got a lot to do. She very oftentimes had to be the person to figure out the alien language. If she couldn't find them in the vault, and the Xindi were in a Bermuda Triangle type area of space, cut off from the rest of the galaxy, so no one had encountered them previously.
So this is the temporal Cold War storyline, right? And I guess beings from the future are communicating from the future to the Xindi in the past and telling them that Earth will eventually destroy them, humans will eventually destroy them, so you have to take action now. And that's why they attacked Earth, is that right? Were they being played as suckers? Is that what's going on here?
Yes, that's exactly right.
Okay.
Arboreal, reptilian, and primate. Arboreal.
Yeah.
Okay, that's because they're not avian, they're not primate, I don't know what they're supposed to be. Whatever arboreal is meant to be, they're part plant. I don't know, but yeah. So this is deleted scenes makes a great point. It felt like a retcon, and a lot of fans were kind of reacting to that, getting a little upset about it. And this whole temporal Cold War thing ended up going on for 3 seasons. Thank you for correcting me on how many seasons it was, Lynn, because that matters. After 3 seasons, they decided to wrap it up, and they wrapped it up like with a neat bow. Like whatever they did completely erased everything that happened before, implying that no canon has been changed by all this, so that they could get on to what they had originally wanted to do, and that was set up the
Romulan.
The Romulan War that was mentioned in Balance of Terror in the original series, which directly led to the formation of the Federation. So we've been seeing the relationships between the different aliens that would be leading to, the First Babel Conference and all that kind of stuff that would eventually become the formation of the Federation. And we started seeing the incursions of the Romulans, even though they didn't know it was the Romulans. Of course, we do as an audience. So they're setting all that up, but they took way too long, and they were focusing too long on this temporal Cold War that they ended up scrapping and saying, nope, didn't really happen.
So are the Xindi still alive?
Non sequitur. Has anyone out there ever pitted cherries? It looks like a bloodbath.
Yeah,
I've seen people do it. Yeah,
everywhere.
Yeah,
cherry juice all over the place. Yeah,
was really not anticipating how messy it was going to be.
Yeah, my fingers are several of my fingers are stained from the cherry juice. So I put on a pair of gloves. I don't think it's helping.
But yeah, so this was, and don't get me wrong, there were some really, really great stories here, but I think, like I said, they spent too long on something that didn't end up going anywhere. It does raise some questions. Well, does that mean Trip's sister is still dead or not? Is Florida still, cut in half or not? Things like that. Some other little bits of canon are like, does this change the canon? There's actually a storyline, and this has nothing to do with the so-called temporal Cold War. This is direct outgrowth from First Contact. Remember, First Contact goes back in time. They follow the Borg back in time as the Borg try to prevent First Contact.
Right.
The crew of the Enterprise makes sure that First Contact happens, but there are some Borg left behind that are and they end up getting frozen in Antarctica, and they're brought back by researchers that find them in Enterprise. They begin trying to assimilate.
Stop.
They try sending a message to the Borg. Now they stop it. They, it's implied that maybe this didn't really impact history at all. But does that mean that the humans might have known about the Borg before the Next Generation, that we started preparing for them? Could that have been part of the whole Section 31 concept?
Stop. Stop
Unfortunately,
putting the Borg in everything.
Yeah, I know, I agree with you.
You're bringing down the impact they had in TNG. The whole point of that whole episode was Q was getting a little tired of the humans' arrogance, saying, "Okay, well, there's wonderful things out in the universe," and then he says, "But there are also terrors you can't imagine." And
yeah.
one of those terrors was the Borg. And you would imagine that there are probably other terrors that they hadn't run into yet that maybe a future
Absolutely
Star Trek
true.
series would do. But of course, we never get to see that. But
Well, in Voyager, you do because you get 8172. Was that the?
did
Species
Kurtzman write this?
8172?
No, this was the Berman era still, right?
Yeah, this was Berman. Yeah, this was.
They're the
Berman,
ones
yeah.
that go out on after Roddenberry passed away. But there were some other episodes. There was, of course,
So there was a great one. It was a two-parter.
two-parter In a Mirror Darkly, right?
In a Mirror Darkly. So this pulls a couple of threads from the original series, including the episode what was it? It was the something web. I forget what it was.
Web?
Huh?
Tholian web?
Yes, the Tholian web. The Enterprise is responding to and this is Kirk's Enterprise, is responding to a distress signal from, I want to say, the USS Intrepid. It was a sister Carney ship that's caught in a web, and the web is getting smaller and smaller, and then it blinks out of existence. Well, this In a Mirror Darkly is told from the point of view of the Enterprise crew, the NX. No, I believe it was they called it the instead of being the United Space Pro. I forget. It was
USS Defiant.
It was the Imperial version of the Enterprise, so it's a different hull with a different symbol on it and whatnot. It was the Defiant. Yes, thank you, Lynn. So this story takes place in from the point of view of the same crew, but in the mirror universe, and they discover the USS Defiant floating in space and whatnot, and they salvage it. And so when they get aboard, they realize that this is not an Imperial ship, but it is a similar design. They figure out that it's from another universe, possibly from the future, and they start going through history records to find what happened to them, their counterparts
in the other universe. Yes.
In the other universe, yeah.
Yes.
So this is where, if you want to accept what was shown, on screen on a, readout or whatever, you could deduce what happens to the characters after the show ends, and what happens to Ensign Sato is not a happy story. It relates to a colony that was mentioned from one of the original series episodes. They find this mass murderer who had been the governor of an Earth colony, who, in order to stave off starvation, ordered the execution of half the colony, and Ensign Sato would have been one of them if you take what was written on these on the Defiance history records as canon. So
that's interesting because Ensign Sato in this universe, she and Archer were an item, right? As I recall.
No. Oh, yeah. You mean here in
the evil universe? Yes. The evil.
It was implied that the trading of favors was something that was done regularly in the mirror universe. Yes. And Lynn points out that Hoshi had sacrificed herself so that Kirk and Riley could live. Kodos executed her. Yes, that's right. She stepped forward and sacrificed herself. That's the story. Again, in a little okudagram on the in the history records of the Defiant. It's very, very interesting stuff. But what was also great about this is, we were talking about Faith of the Heart and the opening for the show. Well, for these 2 episodes, they redid the opening to show the history of the mirror universe.
And it starts
And so
with first Star Trek First Contact, right?
Well, when
The final
they get
scene
to
of that, when the Vulcans show up and
the
Zephyr
little
Cochrane's
stinger
there, right?
at the beginning
Yeah,
starts out with that, and when Zephyr Cochrane, well, the way it actually went in First Contact, Zephyr Cochrane's trying to do the Vulcan salute and he can't manage it, and he goes, heck with it, and he puts his hand out, in a
To
handshake.
shake hands.
Well, over in the mirror universe, he's trying to do it, and he goes, to heck with it. He reaches down, pulls out a shotgun, and just blows the Vulcan away, and they go in and they raid his ship.
They're like, get him! Yes.
And that's how he, yeah, exactly.
And then it goes to the intro where it's all the warfare that
yeah, and you get this impression of a whole history going all the way back.
It shows all the bad
least,
points of human history with all the wars too, right?
Yeah. The whole. I mean, there was footage from World War II used there and so forth, and whatnot. But anyway, so yeah, 2 really, really great episodes that touched on a bunch of lore, and
And the gore
it ends up with if Ensign Sato didn't have such a great ending in our universe, she ends up becoming the Empress in this universe. So,
yeah, interesting.
At least briefly.
But yeah, and that was In a Mirror Darkly. And hold on, I think I have another slide here.
Yeah,
the Klingon. I don't know if you want to go too far into this, but this was explaining how the Klingons lost their bumps, right, on the original series.
Yes, and
it's ridiculous. Okay.
Yes, exactly. So we had for years this whole. Klingon, why is it that Klingons, in the original series are the original series have no bumps, and the Klingons in the movie gen, do, and there was a lot of explanation in role playing games and novels that it was an infiltration thing, and they genetically augmented a certain subset of Klingons to. Which doesn't make a lot of sense because they still put them in Klingon uniforms on Klingon ships. That's not much of an infiltration, but whatever. But some of that concept kind of worked its way in, and they came up with this great idea. Because from the first episode, you're seeing Klingons with the bumps, just like in Next Gen, from First Contact, and all this kind of thing. And then they had a storyline that involved... they brought Brent Spiner back to play a precursor to Dr. Soong, who was getting involved in genetic manipulation. He goes and he finds some frozen embryos from the eugenics wars and starts working with some of these augmented human
cells.
Cells, exactly. Well, they kind of run afoul of the Klingons, and the Klingons discover these genetically augmented humans, and they're like, well, they think there's a new arms race going on, so they're like, well, we have to learn what they're doing here, and maybe we need to augment ourselves. Well, while they're experimenting, a particular virus, some sort of, alien flu, I forget which one it was specifically, mutates with this augment virus, and it infects the Klingons, and it causes them to lose their forehead ridges in its early stages. As it continues, it's ultimately fatal. So they end up reaching out to the Enterprise for help, and Dr. Phlox says, yeah, I'll help you. And they're able to come up with not a complete cure for it, but something that will cure it in its early stages. Anyone that's exposed to it still loses their forehead ridges, but at least they don't die. And as he points out, this is a genetic abnormality, so it'll be passed on to their children, which of course explains the next generation of, which is the original series. And so it is implied, without saying it, that by Next Generation, or excuse me, I take that back, by sometime in the movie era, by at least Star Trek 3, they've found a cure, and boy, it sure seems to imply that the Klingons that you see like in the motion picture, maybe they weren't cured yet. They might have had like
But they had bumps, didn't
surgical. They did, but they all looked alike. Whereas it's been established that Klingon bumps are like family traits, right? So
I think it's a very complicated way of just saying, hey, we just wanted to change the look of the Klingons. So just imagine the Klingons in the old series. It's like they didn't have the makeup for prosthetics.
It was something they never had to do, but they did, and they did it in a pretty clean way. They kind of, and the fans were kind of happy with it. Again, a lot of them, like myself, saying this didn't have to be done, but kind of a cool story. Glad you kind of clean that up. It'll be nice and pristine until Kurtzman comes and shits all over it, and ruins it again.
Yes. And I'm afraid we don't have to spend too much time on this, but this is the
So the last episode, most fans assume that the last episode is one of those things that you don't take as true canon. You look at it as what do they call? What is that term? The unreliable witness or the unreliable narrator, right? The whole last episode takes place on the holodeck in within the Next Generation. The episode with the Phoenix, and I'm forgetting the name of that episode, where Riker is dealing with his old captain having been on a mission that breaks the Treaty of Algeron.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
and
the
so
Romulan
forth.
Treaty. Yes,
and he's trying to work through his the moral ambiguity of the circumstance and his two captains and so forth. And so he turns to this incident on the Enterprise, a moral conundrum. He inserts himself into the story of the original Enterprise as the ship's cook, who was a character that was referred to many, many times throughout the 4 seasons, but we never saw him before. So he steps in, and he's the guy cooking, and kind of like the bartender type guy who talks to all these different people, gets an opportunity to. And it's a poorly done story that nobody was happy with. It puts all the emphasis on Riker and Troy instead of the people whose show was coming to an end. So nobody was happy with it. Not to mention, it actually makes Riker and Troy look kind of stupid when you put it in context of the episode with, it was called the Pegasus. Thank you very much, Lynn. Yeah. See, I knew you'd come through for me. It kind of ruins that whole narrative, too. It was just ill-conceived from the beginning. I'll tell you, Lynn has been reminding me about how much I loved some of the novels that came out of this. They did a novel that rewrote the story of this last episode in a brilliant, brilliant way. I won't get too far into that, but let's just pretend that the last episode of this series didn't happen. It'll be interesting to see if we ever get a canonical explanation of what actually does happen after the 4 seasons of Enterprise.
Yeah, Trip dies.
Well, yeah, this episode killed him off. In the novels, he wasn't killed off. He ended up faking his death and going to work for Section 31. We'll see what they do with this.
We'll see what happens. Moving on, though, to... That's it for Enterprise, but maybe we'll have some more talk about it later.
This might be the longest good old days we've ever done. Yeah.
I'd let it go because we don't have a ton of stories tonight, so I figured, okay, why don't we just do... I mean, I could spend a half hour on the McDonald's story later, but yeah, I'm kidding. Okay, let's move on to Welcome to Geeky Geezers. Unfortunately, some celebrity deaths. Let's get to it. Danielle Spencer, age 60, the actress who played Rad.
I want to point out Dr. Danielle Spencer.
Oh. Oh, they
Yes.
should have mentioned that. Oh,
Yeah.
Dr. D. Okay, they do much. Okay. The actress who played Roz's sarcastic little sister, Deidre
Mhm.
D. Thomas, on What's Happening, died Monday. She was 60 years old. The news was posted by her former What's Happening co-star, Haywood Nelson, on Instagram today. Dr. D, our brilliant, loving, positive, pragmatic warrior without fail, has finally found her release from the clutches of this world in a body. He wrote, "We celebrate Daniel Spencer and her contributions as we regret to inform her departure and transition from a long battle with cancer. We have lost a daughter, sister, family member, What's Happening cast member, veterinarian, animal rights proponent, and healer, and cancer heroine. Our hero Daniel is loved. Our hero Daniel is loved. She will be missed in this form and forever embraced. Spencer played Dee, the precocious and meddling younger sister on What's
Yeah.
Happening for 3 seasons beginning in 1976, loosely based on the 1975 film Cooley High. The series started out as a summer replacement on ABC. After it ended, a spinoff of the show was titled What's Happening Now was ordered, running from 1985 to 1988. Spencer reprised her role, recurring as a college-age Dee for 16 episodes. In 1996, she pivoted from acting and became a veterinarian. And though
Yep.
she considered herself to be semi-retired from the business, she still occasionally acted. Her other TV credits include The Brady Bunch Hour and Days of Our Lives. She also played a vet in the 1997 James L. Brooks movie As Good as It Gets. Oh, that's interesting. I do like that.
And it kind of makes sense, right? Because she
She
was
is a veterinarian in real life. Yeah. Okay. So.
Yeah.
And like we mentioned this before, some of these actors, they Hollywood, they just transition to other careers too. They
Yeah.
don't have to do
Which
acting.
is probably the best thing for them.
Well, I'm sorry she's left us, but
Yeah.
I hope she helped a lot of people and their pets in her life too.
Every indication is that she did. There's a
Yeah.
lot of people out there on the internet talking about how much they loved her and how well she took care of their pets, and apparently she was very beloved just in that community alone.
Yeah.
You know.
So rest in peace. And next up, Tristan Rogers, 79.
Robert Scorpio, to all of us that knew him from General Hospital.
Yeah, he portrayed Robert Scorpio in ABC's daytime soap opera General Hospital, has died. He was 79. Rogers' death was confirmed by his longtime manager, Meryl Sudak, who told ABC 7 entertainment reporter George Panaccio that the actor passed away Friday morning after battle with lung cancer. Sudak noted that Rogers had never been a smoker. That can happen. Yeah, he can still get it without smoking.
Yeah.
The actor's role on General Hospital meant everything to him. His manager said he loved being Scorpio, and he created that role from nothing. He was supposed to work a day, and he ended up making it into something huge. He was just a genuinely loyal, kind human being, and he loved his family. Rogers portrayed Scorpio in the soap opera intermittently during the course of 45 years. The General Hospital family is heartbroken to hear of Tristan Rogers' passing, said General Hospital executive producer Frank Valentini. Tristan has captivated our fans for more than 50 years, and Port Charles will not be the same without him or Robert Scorpio. I would like to extend my deepest sympathies to his family and friends during this difficult time. Tristan was one of a kind talent and will be greatly missed. May he rest in peace. And it says he was born in Melbourne, Australia. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Just wanted to say, yeah, it's about the lung cancer. I don't think people realize there are a lot of carcinogens that people breathe in on a regular basis, and they don't even realize it. Right now, there's a case working, a class action suit that's working its way through the court system related to a very popular weed killer that is highly carcinogenic. So be careful. For all the talk that people have been doing for the past 5 years about wearing masks, that's when you wear a mask. When you're using any kind of chemicals, when you're sanding anything, people don't realize if you do model work, these 3D printers and stuff like that, the fumes they give off, and when you're sanding that resin, those are all carcinogens. Make sure you protect yourself.
Yeah. And next up, but certainly not least, hold on. Got the slides a little out of order there. Terrence Stamp.
Yeah, this
87.
one just made it under the wire. Otherwise, we'd have had to do this next week. But this is too big not to mention. Gosh. Now, I don't know about kneeling before Zod, but I think I'll be saying a prayer for him and his family when I hit my knees.
Yeah, someone earlier in the chat was saying kneeling before God, and I said, well, I guess that makes sense,
yeah.
because if he's in the... Terrence Stamp, the actor known for roles in the Superman films and The Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, has died. He was 87. The Oscar nominee's family shared the news that Stamp died on Sunday morning. He leaves behind an extraordinary body of work, both as actor and as writer, that will continue to touch and inspire people for years to come, they said. According to Reuters, we asked for privacy at this sad time. Born July 22nd, 1938 in Stepney, London, Stamp attended Webber Douglas Academy of Dramatic Art before he began performing on stage in plays like The Long, the Short, and the Tall, Alfie, Dracula, and The Lady from the Sea. Stamp made his on-screen debut in the titular role in Peter Ustinov's 1962 historical drama Billy Budd, earning him a Golden Globe for New Star of the Year, actor, and an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor. In addition to playing General Zod in Superman and Superman 2, Stamp has starred in such films as Far from the Maddening Crowd, Wall Street, Young Guns, The Real McCoy, Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, The Limey, The Haunted Mansion, Valkyrie, and Last Night in Soho. I really want to recommend anyone in the chat listening right out there, a great Terrence Stamp movie is The Limey. If you've not seen it, I recommend it. It's almost like I don't want to say it's like a spiritual sequel to Easy Rider, but it's almost like if the Peter Fonda character had survived Easy Rider and sold out, and he's kind of the antagonist of Terrence Stamp's character, because of course Terrence Stamp's character, that comes from the 60s that was going on in England, so he has all this weird slang in it that you don't know what he's saying. There are a lot of tea leaves running about, and he's like, tea leaves, thieves. Oh, okay, because that's some kind of
Cockney rhyming slang.
Well, from it's just
and the other one that you mentioned that might not be so well known to the audience, Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
Right.
You should see, if you ever saw the movie Tu Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar, and you enjoyed it, you would absolutely love this one. He, it's a very different role, but it does demonstrate his acting chops.
He was a great actor. I always liked Terrence Stamp, and
interestingly, also Zod, of course, is not his only Superman bona fides. They brought him in to play the voice of Jor-El in Smallville.
Yes. He was the voice of Jor-El. Now, when the younger, I guess, clone Jor-El comes out, remember who played him?
Julian Sands.
Yes,
another
Julian
one
Sands.
that we did in remembrance of when he tragically went missing and was eventually found.
But no, big fan of Terrence Stamp. Big fan of the movie The Limey. Great. I don't want to say it's an independent movie, but it's just brilliant. You just have to watch it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you used to watch the show Boston Public. The guy that played the teacher on that is in it too. It's just a really good movie. But rest in peace, Terrence Stamp. And it's weird about if you listen to the Richard Donner commentary on the Donner cut of Superman, he said that Terrence Stamp would come up to him and he would say, "What's the motivation for Zod?" Like he couldn't take that he was just like a straight up villain. So then Richard Donner had taken him to the side. Well, in General Zod's mind, he was the hero of Krypton, and he was going through all these things to get
actually
Terrence mindset.
I don't know if that's where it started.
Yes.
Because keep in mind that General Zod was a character from the comics that they adapted. That history of him, fighting an insurrection, that a military coup and being put down, absolutely came from the comics. But you're absolutely right. This idea that he saw himself as the hero, he absolutely did that, and that plays through as they refine the character, even in the comics. That definitely comes up. It's unfortunate because it sounds to me, and I respect the heck out of him for asking the question, he didn't know that comic lore. That's what he was looking for. He wanted to know who the character was so that he could play him that way. Well, I admire that about him.
He didn't treat it as a lark.
Right. Well, and
I was hired. This is a series. I'm going to take this part seriously.
He took it seriously, and that was what Donner emboldened in these actors and said, look, I know it's a comic book movie, I know it's a superhero story, but we're taking it seriously. Verisimilitude. And I believe that they all responded very well to that. And it sounds like especially Terrence Stamp.
Yeah.
You know?
Rest in peace. One of the great actors. I
Yeah.
always enjoyed him whenever I saw him. And so, yeah. Kind of a shock, actually. It's just we're losing everybody. I'm not. That's actually a depressing thing I just said. Forget about it. Now let's move on to modern actors. We're on the
Yeah,
game
we're back to
section
this
now.
one again. Damn it.
You okay?
Yeah, no. I'm just this article. This whole
Okay,
thing.
Intergalactic.
I'm getting sick and tired of this picture, by the way. You know,
This is what they used to sell the game.
I know.
Intergalactic star Tati Gabrielle responds to the trailer backlash. Intergalactic, the Heretic Products lead and total legend. Okay, this is obviously a supporting article. Tati Gabrielle has responded to all the unearned backlash from the reveal trailer got and said that it's only motivated her to work even harder, although Naughty Dog has gotten its fair share of flack over the last few years for focusing too much on remaster setting projects, blah, blah. It's still looking... it's still one of the best developers out there by a country mile, if you say so. That's your opinion.
Yeah,
anyway,
right. Exactly.
Those hopes were answered at the Game Awards, where it was revealed the Naughty Dog was making a new side adventure called Intergalactic: The Heretic Project. So where's the statement here? The Last of Us 2. Okay, yeah, Last of Us 2 ran into the same problem, Ellie and Abby, because people didn't like those characters. You're making a lot of these characters nobody likes. But as pointed out by Twitter user Dom the Bomb, Gabrielle was asked about the backlash that Intergalactic has received since it was announced. Response: Gabrielle admits that it was hurtful to know that there would be so much hatred, especially considering video game give creators the best chance to imagine new and exciting worlds. At the same time, Gabrielle says it's been empowering for her that she wants to change the world by meeting it where it's at. She also says that the backlash also caused her to go 10 times harder in the role, that she's taken the negativity and used as motivation to prove the doubters wrong. I have nothing against that, what she said right there. I think that's what she says here, though. It's said, though, with video games, even more TV film, you have so much more of a world to play with. We can demonstrate that world thing in being ways and words that we can never dream of, to know there was so much hatred. Okay, but... Okay, well, where the heck is the quote? Hold on.
Okay.
My mistake. I think I did a flub here. No, but she basically said, everyone's going to play it anyway. That's what she said. That was the statement.
And that is...
I thought it was in this article. That's what threw me off.
Exactly the attitude.
Here it is.
It's
It's in the Twitter comment. Yeah.
Okay.
The same people that were hating on the game are going to play the game, and guess what? They're going to love it, so they can be mad. That's not the way you go.
That is not a smart, from a marketing standpoint, that's not smart.
I would say this game is going to be great, and you're going to want to play it. That's fine.
Here's how there is a positive way to say the same thing. Just, I'm telling you, give it a chance. I think you're operating under a lot of misconceptions. I think you're going to enjoy it if you give it a chance. That's how you say it. But when you say it the way you do, the message I get as a potential gamer is, look, you guys will buy anything we throw out there. Just shut up and give us your money. That's what I hear. And that makes me far less likely now to buy the thing.
There is no guarantee this game is going to sell at all. This is not an established franchise. It's a brand new thing. We've seen other games recently bomb that were supposed to be the big deals, like Dragon Age: The Veilguard, and even some others I don't remember. I don't know. We got Nintendo in the news again, too.
This one,
this was interesting.
It's no worse for Nintendo. It's actually a little ray of sunshine here in a way.
Well, this is what I noticed. Okay, Nintendo Switch OLED is somehow $100 off at Walmart after price increases. So, of course, we said that Nintendo, we did a story recently, they're not increasing the price of Switch 2, which people already think is too expensive. They were increasing the prices of all the old hardware, and people were shocked. But then... this is strange. Walmart did something interesting. So the global economy is doing some strange things lately. Strange, bad things. There's inflation, tariff. Okay, yes. I'm old enough to remember when game consoles would come down in price over the lifespan. Now they become more expensive. First price hikes came to Xbox, and now Nintendo has raised the prices on Switch One hardware. However, apparently Walmart didn't get the memo because it's selling the Switch OLED for just $299. That's $100 savings against the current manufacturer's suggested retail price, and it's even cheaper than the original price hike. I would expect the sale to last. I wouldn't expect the sale to last long, so grab one if you want. So I don't know if it's still available. I don't know if anyone in the chat was looking to get an original Switch. If you were, this is a good deal on one because it's the OLED model. So you know what OLED,
Okay,
right?
for us
You have an OLED.
gamers, what does OLED mean?
I was gonna say.
Oh well, what is OLED?
Yeah.
What?
You're using a term that a non-gamer doesn't know. What is OLED? Boomer? Did we just lose you just as I ask you a question? Seriously? If you're still with us, Boomer, we're not hearing you at all. Okay, I'm going to have to pick this up myself.
We ask the spirits.
I got to now open up my notes. I got to go find this and run with this myself. Give me a second here. Go to the messages.
Just ask, our AI.
Yeah, that's going to really help. She's been completely useless. You back?
I'm back. Was I useless? What?
No, I'm talking about maybe we can ask Alexa. I'm like, Alexa's been useless for every question we've asked her. I was starting to pull up the notes so I could run with it.
You have an OLED TV.
What is it? I don't know. I may have one. I don't know what the term means.
Okay. But she didn't tell you, I take it.
We didn't ask her. It's not worth it.
Hold on. I'll find out what OLED stands for. OLED is a solid-state device consisting of thin carbon-based semiconductor-related mixed light when electricity is applied to adjacent electrodes from the Department of Energy.
Oh, okay.
That didn't help. Okay. TV stand for?
We assumed it was some sort of gaming term, and that you would...
No, it's the screen. It's the screen. It's like a lot of OLED TVs are like the fanciest TVs you can buy right now. Organic light emitting diode. That's what it stands for. And the fact is, Nintendo released a special Switch that had an OLED screen rather than an LCD screen. And these were more premium.
I see.
And they were more expensive. Now, some would argue, do I really need... Yes, thank you, Geek Flag. I don't know how I got disconnected. Anyway, but the... I mean, if you hook it up to your TV and aren't playing it in portable mode, you're not going to know. It's not going to turn your TV into an OLED screen. But if you're playing in portable mode, it has some advantages over the original Switch, and it's only $299 right now. So, if you're in the market for an original Switch and wanted to get a deal on one, this would be the way to go. But did I get disconnected or did Troy this time around? What is going on? Hey, why am I disconnected? What's going on? Can y'all hear me? Hello, hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Well,
hello? Can you hear me?
Anyway,
Boomer?
LCD was bad for screen performance. Yes, it was.
Boomer, can you hear? No, Boomer's gone. Can you hear me now, Boomer?
Okay.
Hello?
I can hear you. So you got disconnected, and then I thought it happened to me again. Okay.
I literally
had
a bunch of tabs open. I had a bunch of tabs open trying to find stuff because I figured I was going to have to run with this article in your absence, and then, you disappeared, and you've got almost no connection. I'm looking right at the thing that's got a big red exclamation point saying that your bandwidth is almost non-existent.
You can tell my bandwidth on your side?
Yeah, mine is maxed out. Netter's just missing one bar, and you have none, and it's got an emergency sign over it.
Oh.
We got to
Yeah.
figure out what's going on. Yeah,
And you're roboting now too.
they were doing connection stuff earlier today. Hold on, I'm going to try one more thing, all right?
Okay. Meanwhile, I'm going to go ahead and reopen this and try to see if I can't find the notes and work with them. There it is. I'm going to close all the rest of this out.
All right, can you hear me now?
All
Am I
right.
better?
Yes,
Yes.
I can. Where were we?
We were just talking about, just telling you that the OLED Switch has a better screen. It's $100 off, and Walmart basically told Nintendo, no, we're not going to increase the price. We're actually going to lower the price. I just thought it was an interesting article because it's basically a retailer saying no.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Yes.
this was, I'm not sure if we even brought this idea up. We may have done. But keep in mind that all of this talk about the prices of these things, there's what they're actually charging the stores, and then there's suggested retail price, and I think the retailers are going, no, we can't go that high, or we're not going to sell anything. We still need to make money here. So it's like the outlet, in this case Walmart, is starting to go, yeah, you're kind of pricing yourself out of the market. So this is what we're going to sell it for,
Yeah. Okay.
And welcome,
Basically,
Clue Channel. Thank you so much. And I agree very much with Geek Flag. F Nintendo. I agree 100%.
Well, I still like the regular Switch, and I'm happy to keep playing games on my regular Switch. I just have no interest in the Switch 2 because it's just it's awful. But anyway.
But has Nintendo found a way to brick that yet? Because they'll try.
I hope not. Then it's over. I don't know what to say. I think if they could figure out a way to do it, they'd done it by now. But we might have some good news on the Pirates of the Caribbean front.
Even if it's not good news, it's interesting news.
Yeah. Jerry Bruckheimer thinks Johnny Depp would hop aboard a new Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yep.
And so Johnny Depp reportedly is considering a return to one of his most popular roles, Captain Jack Sparrow. Pirates of the Caribbean producer Jerry Bruckheimer tells EW that he's in talk with Depp about reprising the swashbuckling character in a sixth Pirates film.
Yeah.
If he likes the way the parts were in, I think we would do it, Bruckheimer says. It's all about what's on the page, as we all know. Depp had previously claimed that Disney had sent him overboard after ex-wife Amber Heard published a 2018 op-ed about domestic abuse. Now, I will say this for Disney. I mean, we picked on Lucasfilm for what they did to Gina Carano, but I don't think they ever officially said, oh, we cannot work with Johnny Depp anymore and we disavow him. I don't think they ever did anything that stupid, right? We weren't making another Pirates movie.
Right. It wasn't Disney
yes.
It wasn't Disney that did it. It was who's the one that put out the Harry Potter films?
Warner's did that. Warner's
Yeah,
were the one that kicked them to the curb.
cool.
Disney could
Yeah.
just say, "Oh, well, we never ruled Johnny Depp out. We just didn't have another Pirates of the Caribbean script made up yet. We were kind of reworking it. But yeah, we'd love to see him back."
It was very
That's what they
clear,
can
though.
say. Yes.
It was very clear, though, from what Johnny Depp had said, is that he didn't want to work with Disney anymore. I don't remember. He said something like however many $1 million and 100 alpacas if they want to get him back.
So I think they might have thrown him under the bus privately, but they didn't do it publicly. And now
for once was actually smart.
And now they can just say, "Oh, it was just a misunderstanding." Of course, I'd
Which
love to return
sounds
to
very
Jack
much
Sparrow.
like what they're kind of saying with Gina, although that one's kind of court enforced based on their concession.
Yeah. So it's discussion of the sixth one, but ongoing since 2018. EW reports that the next installment would be a reboot. It's a reboot, but if it was up to me, he would be in it, Bruckheimer said. I love him. He's a good friend. He's an amazing artist, and he's a unique look. He created Captain Jack. That's not on the page. That's from him doing a little Pepe Le Pew and Keith Richards. That was his interpretation of Jack Sparrow. So they're going to do a reboot?
Well, keep in mind that even a sequel, even a straight sequel, this far out, you almost have to consider a reboot. Just like Afterlife. Ghostbusters Afterlife was a reboot, right? It's technically a direct sequel from Ghostbusters 2, but it's been so long, it's also a reboot. It's not changing any canon. It's not an alternate universe or anything like that, or going back in time and remaking it. You know, it's
not reinventing the wheel.
Exactly. This reboot, this is the problem that I keep trying to talk people off the ledge. Every time they hear reboot, they think remake or for newer audiences or alternate universe. And that can be what it means, but that's not always what it means. Sometimes reboot just means a sequel after a lot of years.
Yeah, like the Star Trek movies were sort of a reboot, right?
I guess you could say that, yeah. But there's no doubt that it was a direct continuation.
So just do that. New characters, but you'll have Captain Jack being Captain Jack. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Other news: Matt and Ross Duffer negotiating Netflix exit from Paramount Matt and Ross Duffer negotiating Netflix exit for massive Paramount overall deal.
Yeah.
Just pretend my internet was getting wonky again, okay?
Yeah, there you go. No, that's geezer wonky.
Yes.
So the Duffer Brothers are looking to leave Netflix to go over to Paramount, which is very, very interesting.
Yeah, in Hollywood's cutthroat deal-making ecosystem, stranger things often happen. Like Matt and Ross Duffer moving from Netflix for a rich new overall deal at Paramount. The Duffer Brothers, creators of Netflix juggernaut Stranger Things, are in advanced negotiations to exclusively create film and television with an emphasis on tentpole movies at the legacy studio just taken over by David Ellis and Skydance. The move would reunite the Duffers with Sidney Holland, Paramount's new head of streaming, who greenlit Stranger Things at Netflix. Oh, that's interesting. So they do have a friend over there. The pair would also work with Josh Greenstein and Dana Goldberg, who share film and series creative duties. Representatives for the Duffers had no immediate comment. A Paramount spokesperson did not immediately return requests for comments. So that's interesting. So, yeah, I mean, these are the Stranger Things guys. So let me see. Before Stranger Things made him a household name, the Duffer's career almost stalled before it could start when Warner Brothers sat on the directorial debut, the post-apocalyptic thriller Hidden, for years after they'd made it, ultimately dumping it into the video-on-demand market. M. Night Shyamalan, however, liked their script for the film so much that he hired them as writers on his 2015 Fox series, The Wayward Pines. Interesting. I didn't realize they were involved with that. So, it sounds like Warner Brothers screwed up with them. Warner Brothers had them, and they threw them away. That's what it looks like.
That's always the case. You gotta hold on to good talent. Disney. I mean Netflix.
Well, Netflix. In Netflix defense, Netflix gave them free reign on Stranger Things, but I guess now they want to move on to a better deal. Plus, I think they want to make movies, like big budgeted movies that might get sent out to theaters. I think that's what their next goal is. So, we'll see. Let's move on though to the next article. A certain captain is back in the news. Captain Archer.
Getting back to our good old days. Yeah, absolutely.
This was Captain Archer, and Scott Bakula talks Star Trek United, and producer reveals more details on proposed series. Last Friday, Trek Movie exclusively broke the news that Star Trek Enterprise star Scott Bakula had teamed up with Voyager and Enterprise writer-producer Mike Sussman on a pitch to return to the franchise in a new series centering around Federation President Jonathan Archer. They envisioned the show as a political thriller and a family drama set in those chaotic formative years of the Federation. And they even have a name for it, Star Trek United. The idea was floated to Paramount a couple of years ago, but with the pullback in streaming and focus on developing Starfleet Academy, they passed on the idea. However, Bakula and Sussman have continued to refine the concept and hope the new Skydance regime at Paramount will be open to consider this show as part of their plans to expand Paramount Plus. Over the weekend at SLTV's Trek to Vegas, Scott Bakula made his first convention appearance since 2016. The subject of Star Trek United came up and he offered some brief thoughts. Mike Sussman also appeared on a panel over the weekend and revealed more details about the vision for the potential series. During his panel appearance on Sunday afternoon, Bakula kept the packed convention auditorium entertained with funny stories from his time in the franchise, other genre shows, and more. I'm sure he talked about Quantum Leap. He even took time out to record a message to a fan's mother whose cancer kept her from attending. But at one point, the actor took a fan question about where he would have liked to go with Archer at Enterprise not been canceled in its fourth season, and also if he could talk about the United pitch. He started talking about how Enterprise wrapped up. Because we were being canceled, and there was a good chance we would have been canceled after 3 seasons if Gary Hart hadn't kind of gone to the mat for us. So we got the extra season 4 to kind of complete the whole Xindi thing, which thank goodness we did, because I thought it was pretty amazing television. I loved that, and it really was great writing. And man, we had some good actors come on all the time on that show. I didn't recognize half of them due to alien makeup, so we crushed the ending of the show to wrap things up. But I think the goal was for that to happen more slowly and for Archer to kind of start forming the bones of the Federation. And I think that would have been really, really exciting to do. So I'm sorry we didn't get to lean into that. So former Enterprise lead then pivoted to carefully talk a little bit about United. There's nothing I'm going to say about United at this point. There's a great writer, Mike Sussman, and I have had conversations about the possibility. I'm just going to say we will close on that. You never know.
Yeah.
As reported earlier, Star Trek United concept would see Bakula as president, Archer helping shape the early Federation, as he wished he had a chance to do had Enterprise continue. So this would be Archer, I guess, as the first Federation president. Is that right?
Yes, exactly. Which, again, that was established canon from, that last episode, but still.
What do you think? Do you like the idea of Star Trek United?
I absolutely do. This is definitely one of those Trek projects that, you know what? F. Les Moonves. That's all I can say. He hated Trek. He wanted it gone. He didn't care what the fans liked and didn't like. And it started this whole concept of you're going to like what we tell you to like or go screw yourself. And it was the beginning of the downfall for both Paramount and CBS and all the problems that they've been dealing with for so long.
It'll be Star Trek West Wing. Haha, don't joke. Maybe that's what they're planning.
That actually isn't a terrible idea. I mean, like I said, this really should be it's what
they've never done a Star Trek series like that. I'll say that.
Yeah, and I almost feel like this is the kind of show that, just like you had Next Generation and Deep Space Nine, where you had the Enterprise out doing the exploration, and you had the Starbase, on the fringe. It would probably be good to have 2 series, one, related to the Enterprise, and one related to what's going on back at the Federation, and have them have crossovers and stuff like that, because there is political story to tell there, and there is put a pin in that, Nate. We'll get to that in just a second. But yeah, I think it could be a really great idea, and it really was the story that Enterprise was anticipated to get to. They just took too damn long to get to it.
So Admiral Teague is bringing it up that just because it was turned down by Kurtzman doesn't mean it would have been good if it... Yeah, well, I don't know.
No, that's absolutely true. It really depends who you have in charge of it. It's gotten to the point where we have to weed through the ridiculous DEI hires that these studios are being run by, and separate that from the suits that are just pig-headed and can't get out of their own way of success. Both problems need to be dealt with.
Stop putting writers of Gilmore Girls and Supergirl on your Star Trek shows. It's a Star Trek. It's science fiction. It's not supposed to be.
I'm going to say that a good writer is a good writer if they're willing to work in a different medium. The writers for the Gilmore Girls were great with dialogue and character development.
Yeah,
If
on
they
Gilmore
are willing,
Girls.
if they no, because character development and dialogue is a universal in storytelling, but you have to be able to get your head out of this modern day whatever your life is that you want to communicate and start looking at the medium you're working in. Right, you don't work with you don't work with metals the way you do with plastics. You don't work with pencils the way you do with paints, and you don't work with Star Trek the way you do with Stars Hollow. You know, you have to know the lore that you're writing for, and if you're unwilling, then you absolutely are the wrong person for it. But if you're someone like Nick Meyer, who had no knowledge of Star Trek, but took the time to look at it and understand it and go, I can do this. In fact, I might even be able to elevate it. And boom, he did.
Just please, I don't know though. Is this going to be another Kurtzman Trek show, or is this going to be something unique and back in the old timeline and all that? I mean, I'm just.
Yeah, his follow-up statement is actually really good. The Trek writers are failed young adult novel writers.
Yeah, well,
there's a lot of truth there. There are, I believe, there's probably some good writers there. They're just not allowed to be good writers, so we wouldn't know about it. You got to understand, it's also the showrunners that are the biggest problem. You need a complete overhaul over there.
Jessica Hardo says, Troy, I would have liked to have seen a Star Trek West Point cadet being educated, the older generation of cast members get a new cast. Yeah, well, they toyed with that in Star Trek: The Wrath of Khan, and that's probably what a Star Trek, a Starfleet Academy show
A real Starfleet Academy would be, absolutely. You know what? You might want to get on to the next one, because we're actually starting to get on to a lot of the points that are... Yes.
J.J. Abrams will produce next 2 Star Trek movies from that Park Place. This is from the article from that Park Place.
Oh my gosh, excuse me. Wait, break, pause. First, I want to thank RubyHoove for the gifted membership that went to Mark Daly. Welcome back to membership, Mark Daly. Thank you so much, RubyHoove and Mark Daly. Ruby, I hope you're doing well. I know the last I heard, you'd been in the hospital for some tests. I haven't heard the follow-up to that. I really do hope that you're doing well. Thank you so much. And I wanted to restart because I was sneezing, and obviously when I clip this, I don't want it to start out with me sneezing and hacking. So go ahead, let's start over.
That's that scene from Star Trek Star Trek Into Darkness, not Insurrection. Star Trek Into Darkness, where Spock was screaming Khan because he got all angry and then punches.
What was I just saying about writers that don't want to work in the medium that they're working in?
I remember seeing Star Trek Into Darkness, and I was like, oh, that was not good.
No,
I really did not like Star Trek Into Darkness, and I tried cutting the first movie some slack, and then I see Into Darkness, and it's like you wanted to redo Wrath of Khan, but you've done it worse.
Well, my problem with it is, with the way that they're writing Star Trek and the plot points from this particular movie, why isn't Khan like in some research facility strung up? With tubes where they're extracting blood from him like vampires, to keep other people alive indefinitely. It's ridiculous. Terrible story writing.
Oh, right. That nonsense with Dr. McCoy bringing Kirk back to life for no reason.
That's exactly.
Negating the entire point of the sacrifice.
Blood. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so Paramount Pictures has announced the development of 2 new Star Trek films, both under production umbrella of J.J. Abrams. Okay, according to a recent Deadlight report, one project promises a return of Captain Kirk and his iconic crew, while the other introduces fresh characters directed by Toby Haynes of Andor fame. On the surface, this sounds like a bold expansion of the franchise, but with Abrams at the helm, the architect of the divisive Kelvin Timeline movies and his longtime collaborator Alex Kurtzman looming in
Yeah.
the background as a key figure in modern Trek, many fans fear this will deliver more of the action-heavy, lore-bending spectacle that's left traditionalists cold for over a decade. I feel like it's been over more than a decade at this point. The
And
announcement comes as Paramount and under Skydance ownership positions Star Trek as a priority across the company. According to co-chair Dana Goldberg, the first film, scripted by Steve Yoki, will reunite familiar faces like Kirk and Spock, presumably picking up from Kelvin timeline established in Abrams' 2009 reboot. The second, penned by Seth Grahame-Smith and produced alongside Simon Kinberg, aims to explore new territory with Haynes directing. No release dates or plot details have been revealed, but Abrams' involvement in both ensures his signature style will permeate these projects. So that means plenty of lens flare, right?
yes, exactly.
Oh, no. No, no, no,
Yeah.
no, no, no,
So
no.
let me put. We had to bring this article up because it's out there, but I do want to temper this with a little bit of wisdom. Keep in mind that we've seen this play out over and over and over again over on the Disney side, with Kathleen Kennedy constantly saying that this person is going to do a movie and this person's getting a trilogy, and we've got this movie coming out. We're planning to do this, we're planning to do that, and these things never come to fruition. And why does this happen? These are people trying to keep their jobs. They're trying to circumvent the studio process to hopefully get fans excited about something so they, oh, well, I guess now we got to keep you because people, it looks like they want to see this thing, so we need you to make this thing. This is desperation. This is somebody in the bad reboot sphere, the secret hideout, whatever, trying to get recontracted under Skydance. And as Admiral Teague points out, there's no way they make a JJ movie. JJ's last show, Duster, sucked and was canceled in less than one season. And that's just the most recent. He has had failure after failure. You can even look at the Star Wars movies. He failed as much as Rian Johnson did on those, and there is, and I hope that after the money that Skydance has spent to acquire Paramount CBS and reunite them, they understand this well enough. But again, I think this might be a Hail Mary on their part, trying to keep their brand of Star Trek alive when it looks almost certain that it won't.
Super 8 was trash. I'm going to say this. Super 8 should have been my first indication that there was something wrong with J.J. Abrams. That was the first thing I saw by him where I was like, I don't think I liked that movie. That's what I thought I ever saw in theaters. Like, I should, because I'm a fan of his TV shows, and I know he's going for the whole Spielberg aesthetic and everything, but I did not like Super 8, and this was before the Star Trek reboot came out. There we go.
He may like Spielberg, but he's not talented enough to mimic him, and he comes off as a cheap imitation.
Oh, really?
That's
I didn't know this.
Yep.
JJ's wife started at Me
Yep.
Too. Hashtag.
Yep.
And JJ, get him out of here. I'm done. I want to see nothing he's attached to at this point.
And this is how you have to look. Don't just stop looking at the world when you formed a decision. Keep paying attention, because hindsight is 20/20, and there's still people doing #MeToo, trying to carry that banner, not realizing that the evidence is coming out that this was all a sham. That this does nothing that you think it does. It doesn't help women. It doesn't, help shine a light on bad things or anything. This is just a cudgel for people to turn over Hollywood so that cultural Marxists can take over.
I
This
don't
is the
wanna
Great
see,
Step Forward 2.0.
I don't want to see Zachary Quinto Spock again. They made Spock a jerk in these movies too. Let's be honest here.
Yeah.
I like the student that tells on the kid like doing the spitballs in class. I just didn't like him. No more Abrams Trek. I saw Star Trek Beyond. That was the third one. I think I waited for that one to come to video. It wasn't as bad as Into Darkness, but again, it did things that boggled my mind.
Yeah.
Because first you have Idris Elba playing some alien despot that is doing bad things on this planet and messes with the Enterprise, and I'm like, well, that's okay, that's interesting, okay. And then no, it turns out no, he's actually a Federation officer that was turned into an alien thing by this device, and that's dumb. That was dumb, and it just is revealed by her as a side thing when she's looking at some scan thing. Oh no, he's actually a Federation. He was from the Captain Archer days, I guess. And I'm like, no, that doesn't make any sense. Now he's a human. He looked like an alien despot. Like, it's just no more Abrams
because
Trek.
they use all this genetic resequencing the same way they use multiverse and time travel. They use it as a magic pill to do the thing they want to do without giving any thought.
But it didn't make any sense.
rationale.
You already had the villain established. He's an evil alien despot on this planet. That's what he was.
But mystery box.
It's not an. It's no. I'm just. I can't deal with this, man. I can't deal with any more Abrams. I can't. Why? Why are? Okay, I know you're saying.
No, all I'm saying is this is a Hail Mary pass, and if
he does have a relationship with Skydance, though.
Yes, and if Skydance goes with this, you can kiss your investment goodbye. This will be the worst investment Skydance has ever made in its history.
With Kelvin Timeline Trek, I'm doubly done with Kurtzman.
It'll pretty much be the end of Paramount too, because this is the only thing that could potentially keep them alive.
Yeah, Mission Impossible is not going to do it anymore. And Starfleet officers are always villain. It got tired when the original show did that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Just stop with that. I thought they were going to get back to having the Klingons as antagonists in the Kelvin timeline. Like, oh, cool, we can at least have the Klingons as antagonists again. And then no, that they didn't.
No, they were too busy retelling stories, like exactly the same but completely bizarro version of Star Trek 2.
Stupid. Anyway, let's move on to what made Khan work was Ricardo Montalban too. And I'm not picking on Benedict Cumberbatch; he's a good actor, but Ricardo Montalban is what sold Khan. All right, moving on to this is kind of a fun story. This isn't anyway. This is just. I thought you might get a kick out of this story. San Francisco last video rental store tucked away in No Valley neighborhood. So remember the video rental stores? We did something on this the other week, didn't we? Once a staple of neighborhoods everywhere, video stores are all but vanishing in this age of stream. But tucked away between a Supercuts and a nail salon in San Francisco's No Valley is a surprising survivor, a small independently owned video shop where movies are still picked by hand and watched on disc. Welcome to Video Waved. It's believed to be the last remaining video store in rental store in San Francisco. It has rows and rows of DVDs and a loyal crowd keeping an old ritual alive. Owner Colin Hutton said he never thought he'd be the last one standing. There's been many moments when I thought I would survive it, he said. The trouble began around 2008 when streaming services took off and video stores across the country began to fade to black. But then something unexpectedly happened. Customers started to come back, some drawn by nostalgia, others by curiosity. For 23-year-old Kaylin Zephyr, it was a refreshing experience. When it comes to things that are streaming on your phone, it feels like everything's demanding your attention right away, and these other things are like a step removed from that, Zephyr said. Believe it or not, DVDs are having a moment. Not quite a blockbuster comeback, more of a cult classic rewind. While overall DVD sales dropped more than 23% last year, 4K editions jumped 10%, and collector versions climbed 25% according to the Digital Entertainment Group. There's been a real resurgence in tangible media, said Lucas Hildebrand, chair of film and media studies at UC Irvine. Hildebrand said, for Gen Z, part of the appeal isn't just film, it's the boxes, the artwork, even the act of browsing. There's also a hunger for people who grew up with social media, who grew up with the internet, to actually have in-person interactions, he said. Ironically, the future of the store may depend on the very thing that nearly wiped it out, a subscription model. Hutton said he had 550 subscribers, just enough to keep video away from avoiding the final cut. With my business model being subscription, I had 150 more subscribers. That would be the difference between not making it and making it, Hutton said. So I thought this was interesting that Gen Z is now wanting to go back to physical media, even though they I don't even know if they were able to grow up with it, or they didn't grow up with it as much.
No, but what they're seeing
Yeah.
is, well, first they're hearing the previous generations talking about it. They understand the concept. And now they're starting to see a lot in the games, but also in the streaming and so forth, realizing you don't own anything and you have zero control. And
I think people are figuring this out slowly.
Yeah.
They're catching on. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why we
exactly
do our
right.
thing on here, don't we? We say own physical
Well,
media.
and actually, Deleted was saying something that I was thinking too. Too bad it's in San Francisco. And not only do they have to deal with the problems that their business model has to deal with, they have to deal with a lot of things that hurt business in California, and we'll just leave it at that.
The act of owning.
Yeah.
Heard there's still 2 blockbuster videos in the entire world. Yeah, I think that's correct. But yeah, I think it's interesting how they're starting to realize the value of things. I mean, they might start buying compact discs next. I don't know. What are we doing?
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
But yeah, I just thought it was an interesting story that apparently there are at least some out there that, yeah, oh, the AI overlords, you don't like them, Geek Flag? No? And our final story of the night, this is going to get a mini rant from me.
Okay.
McDonald's debuts latest Happy Meal collaboration. Former 90s kids are going to love the cartoon combo coming to McDonald's Happy Meals. The fast food chain announced an exclusive collaboration that will have nostalgia fans rushing into the Golden Arches, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Hello Kitty and Friends Happy Meal. The McDonald's fandom fusion of epic proportions will be available in restaurants nationwide starting August 12th, the chain noted. On the same day, the home of the Big Mac will launch with a new McDonald Land meal. We're not talking about that. Inspired by the mystical world first created. So that's for the old timers. I think they make these adult Happy Meals that are more representative, like the 1970s McDonald's that you can buy. Okay, but 12 figures will be available to collect, each one a fusion of the 2 cartoon classics. Think Donatello with a dash of cinnamon roll, or Kuromi rocking Michelangelo's fierce attitude, McDonald's menu spotter read. Each Happy Meal comes with one of 12 figures and a character card that shares their unique skills and backstory. McDonald's stressed that the 3-way collaboration will be available only for a limited time, so race to your nearest McDonald's and collect them all before they vanish into the fandom multiverse.
Oh,
Now,
gosh.
I'm sorry, I gotta talk a bit about this.
Okay.
Typically, what you have with these types of Happy Meals is that, or these meals, is you would have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or Hello Kitty. Hello Kitty for the girls, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for the boys. A few months back, Burger King was doing, I think, Hot Wheels or Barbie. You get to pick if you want Hot Wheels or Barbie, or Barbie doll with your kids' meal. That I get. I feel this is taking both of the things, combining them into one toy, and creating something that nobody wants. Either Hello Kitty fans or Turtles fans. What is this?
Yeah.
Do you see this? You see the Hello Kitty turtle thing with the Donatello mask and the bow. It's like, who is this for?
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
it for
it is
girls?
pretty.
Is it for boys? Is it for nondescript? It's like they didn't want to have gendered toys in the meal, so they just combined the 2 gendered toys.
It is strange. It really is.
No.
But okay, here's what I'm going to say though. It's a unique concept. Until you try it, you don't know. If it goes down in flames, they never do this again. But I have heard weirder things, suddenly go viral. I could see a scenario where you have a boy and a girl in your family and they both want the toy, and that's okay. He plays with it in conjunction with his Donatello figure, and she plays with it with her Hello Kitties, and they're both happy. It could be a weird brilliant marketing. You never know. We'll see.
Lisa says, "Where's a Hello Kitty 45th anniversary and Mobile Suit Gundam 40th anniversary crossover? Were the kittens piloting these giant mech robots? Is that what they did?
Yeah,
with
that actually sounds kind of cool to me.
Oh my word!
And the other thing that I'm kind of positive about. So just yesterday, I was on with Real Wade Nation Gaming Clips. We were doing a watch party of the 1985? I think it was 1985, something like that. G.I. Joe animated film, and because he was streaming it from, I think it was Tubi, we were getting the commercials, and one of the commercials that kept coming up was these McDonald's commercials for their, not Happy Meal, but their like adult meal thing that they're doing, that we talked about on Geeky Geezers some weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it was being it had Ronald McDonald and the McDonald Land characters and stuff, and I was like, damn, this is nice. I saw the nostalgia they were going for. Even though these were adult meals, it had that juvenile flavor that I was like, I dig that. And it wasn't really about, I don't think there was a toy or whatever.
They might give you a glass. I think the adult meals come with a glass.
Maybe, okay.
Like
I didn't even I saw this commercial like 3-4 times, never even paid attention to that element of it, because I was too like, it's Ronald McDonald, it's Grimace, stuff like that.
Hold on, you know what? It's actually in this article I skipped over. Okay, the Mount McDonald Land Shake offers a secret concoction as enchanting as the world itself and inspired by the blue lava and pink clouds.
Right. That's one of the things we were talking about. Yeah.
What's the thing that comes with it? Okay, each Happy Meal. No, that's 12 figurines. I don't know. Collectible souvenir and a brand new McDonald Land shape. So maybe one of the souvenirs was a glass, and maybe it's there. I don't know. Maybe there's no glass at all. I thought they were glasses they were giving out. Remember how McDonald's used to give out glasses?
Yes,
back in the day?
I absolutely do. I collected a number of them. I collected the Empire and Jedi ones and some of the Star Trek ones. Now some of I can't remember. Some of them were Burger King. Some of them were other outlets, but still.
I had the Batman Forever glasses. Remember those from McDonald's?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Cut crystal or cut glass or something. Oh, here we go. It says each meal comes with a tin of collectibles that includes postcards, stickers recognizing McDonald's characters because they come with tins. That's what it is.
Oh, that's kind of neat. Okay.
So they're tins that come with little goodies inside. So
sure. Okay.
You can get it either as a McNugget meal or as a or with a quarter pounder with cheese. You get a choice of either. Okay, so
right.
G.I. Joe was 1987. You know what? They need to do a G.I. Joe Rainbow Bright crossover thing. What do you think, huh?
I mean, if it was done right, I could totally see that. I could see someone like Sydney Sweeney playing Rainbow Bright, but like in rainbow camouflage, and
She would shoot rainbows at Cobra Commander. Is that what she would do? Like I don't.
With lethal force, absolutely.
With lethal force, okay.
Not to mention that girl. Have you seen the video of her on the range, the tactical range? She can shoot.
Who's Sydney Sweeney?
Yep.
Yeah, listen to me. Hollywood's not using her because they need to be using her more, but they're dumb because they don't have a Kershaw.
That's okay because she's smart enough to be producing her own films. She's gonna be loaded.
Kershaw, Boomer, the Horse Runner. How about Care Bears mixed with He-Man? Huh? You could do that next, huh?
Well, it can't be any worse for He-Man. Let's be honest.
Strawberry Shortcake and the Transformers. I mean, come on, I could do this all day. I
wouldn't be surprised if there weren't. Look, remember, Transformers has been combined with just about every other license already. That's a very common thing.
Just leave the Turtles alone. The boys want to be getting a Turtles figure. They want to be getting Donatello or Raphael. Raphael's the best. And just or do Hello Kitty. Do that. I don't understand this. I already know how this meeting went. We know how the meeting went. I know. Why don't we do one of our meals where they can pick either Turtles or Hello Kitty because they're both popular, and then they say no. Why don't we just combine them?
Yeah, and it's one of those kinds. I still insist I agree with you. It's stupid. It probably won't work. But you never know until you try it. This could end up, this could hit a group that you don't expect, like the frickin' bronies,
Yes, there you go. There you go. To learn more about them, check out Snarky J's channel.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. Good.
Oh,
Yeah.
no. Oh, the best
Look,
Ninja Turtle
I
is Leo.
do not fault a company for
But we all
trying
have our
something.
favorite.
I don't fault a company for trying something. I fault a company for trying something, seeing that it fails, and then doubling and tripling down on that failure. That I hold against them. So let's see how this goes. In the 1 in a million chance that it does well, we'll have to eat our words. If it fails, at least they can say they tried.
Jesse, I hate to tell you this, they did a Lego TMNT line. I don't think it was huge, but they did a couple sets. I think I recall that. That's why in the Lego movie you had the joke about Michelangelo, welcome, because it was the Italian pronunciation of the artist, Michelangelo.
I like this.
But then they had the
Scene
Ninja
says,
Turtle next to him. Yes.
Tom Connors is going to excrete a brick, and it'll be a Lego brick, and it will hurt.
You know what? If he shows up on karaoke tonight, I'm going to ask him about this.
Exactly.
Or maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I'll leave that to you, the host, to do.
Well, I'm afraid that it'll just. Well, unless he shows up in the first half hour.
I don't want to upset the guest, so let's not go there. All right.
But
all right, and that wraps it up for tonight. Maybe get a BK Kids meal. Maybe they have better stuff right now. I don't know. All right, that's it. 11:02.
Absolutely.
What we got going on this week? We have reserved seats tonight.
No reserved seats tonight. I don't think. I didn't see it go up. So
yeah, there may not be one.
Let me know if there is one. But tomorrow night, for those of you that are members, you have decided that for Members Night at the Movies on my channel, we will be watching Terror on the Prairie with Gina Carano. You asked for it, I will deliver. Membership, just remember, if you're not a member, it's only $2 a month. Actually, I think it's $1.99 a month, of which I only see about 2/3 of that. But be that as it may, membership's not terribly expensive, and you can join us for Terror on the Prairie tomorrow. Tuesday, Deleted confirms he's taking the night off tonight. I do believe that Deleted does have a Mystery Monday movie thing that he's going to see on Monday, which he will be doing a stream about on Tuesday, so watch for that. But then Tuesday at 7:30, join us on Deleted Scenes and Affiliates for Live from Sparkwood in 21, our love letter to Twin Peaks and to David Lynch, followed thereafter by the next episode of Blake 7. He says, I will try to be there, last call, but the mystery movie night may run over. Exactly. I was anticipating that. Blake 7 at 10 Central on my channel. Thursday on Netter's Network, Netter has a very special guest, Tony of Stark of Iron. I got to get that promo put together for tomorrow, but that will be a lot of fun. I've guested on his channel at least twice. It's always a lot of fun, and you can get to know him on Thursday. And then Friday, let's see. Friday is, we just did your movie last night, so it is Big Al night on Saturday, so that means there's no Films with Friends on Friday. So last call, 9 o'clock on Friday night, 9 Central on Friday night. Very special karaoke stream. Looking forward to that. You guys put your money where your mouth is. Not only did you want to make sure that you got your karaoke stream and got me singing, you anteed up to make sure that Netter will have to sing as well. So Netter
You
will
poor
be singing,
things.
yeah, on Friday at the karaoke stream. Thank you so much, CluuStudio, celebrating 9 months of membership. Can you cut an edit of you rapping "Bust a Move" to the original track?
Wow.
You know what? Bring that up on Friday. I can't promise to do it on Friday, but if you bring it up on Friday, we'll put it to put your money where your mouth is. If enough people want me to do that, I will do an exclusive Rumble Troy doing "Bust a Move" that for all of you. But I would have to rehearse that and yeah, I'll do it to the original musical track. I can do that. Sure, no problem.
Yes, but you're talking to a white boy who doesn't know how to rap.
That's why it's funny. That's why Clue wants it. Yeah. Oh, and he's like, "Oh, I'll donate. But Clue, make sure you bring it up on Friday and remind me so I can start a goal for that. Then I'll have to think what dollar value makes that worth it. What's it worth to you,
$2.15.
You really think I'm that cheap?
I'm not saying a word.
Yeah, Clue, we'll figure it out. So that's what we're looking forward to. And then Saturday on Big L Presents Films with Friends, because it is Jane Austen August, we will be watching
Pride and Prejudice, but no zombies.
No. Pride and Prejudice, no zombies with Keira Knightley. I called my boss and asked if I could come in later. He told me to dream on. So I hung up and went back to sleep and thought that was very nice of him. I like that.
Pride and Prejudice and zombies?
That'll be in 3 weeks on his channel.
That's like the Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
I haven't seen it either.
Okay.
It was based on a novel, I think, that I haven't read either, so I'm gonna have to look into that. But,
all right. So, and that brings us to when? Where are we at?
That's it. Then it brings us around to next Sunday and more Geeky Geezers.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Hopefully there'll be more.
Please,
news
celebrities,
next
stop dying.
Hopefully
We
there'll
don't
be
want you to die.
more news next week, or we're gonna have to do another deep dive into something. I don't know. But I hope you enjoyed the Enterprise talk. I learned a lot.
Yeah.
I'll have to check out this show one of these days. Yes. But
There you go.
all right, y'all have a good week. And we'll see you next time.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye, sweeties.